night in Canada and the NHL on Sportsnet present the Stanley Cup Playoffs.
Shoots, scores! Good stuff, Forsling, Frankie off the pad of Anderson, they score! Sam Bennett throws it towards the net, scores! Barkov in front, 5-0.
It's just a Saturday night, yeah, Saturday night, it's just a Saturday night.
Another Saturday night. Thank you, Shawnee Kish and Jane's party. Here come the participants. The Panthers are making history with their road domination. The last four, 6-1, 6-1, 5-2, 5-0. They almost hate to come home. The Hurricanes looking for a change. They are hitting futility with that 14 straight third-round road defeats. There's no question. This does have the feeling of a ring for Florida, but there's a lot of teams that have a say in that. I love this. Matt Marstrom pointed out it's Category 5 or the Cats 5. Which do you prefer? So far, it's all Florida in this series. Beautiful evening, 30 degrees right now at game time in Sunrise. A few showers in the area. As we get set for Game 3, can the Canes come back into it? With Jennifer Kelly and our very special guest for one night only,
Mini Chris Pronger.
That's right.
Half his size.
Welcome back. So, look, all seriousness, Sam Reinhart, that's a big blow. He's out tonight.
It is, yeah. And we don't know how long. It did look, to me, kind of scary. Maybe similar to the Morrissey-type injury where it is that knee. He kind of got chopped here from Aho last game. That's what I thought right away, at least looking at it. And again, we don't speculate around here, but I'm speculating. I think that's probably knee. Best case, it's a Charlie Horse that he could maybe come back. But it's a huge loss for them because he's a two-way player for them. He's a Selke Trophy finalist. He plays in every situation. It's also his demeanor and his attitude. He's a very quiet leader, very calming presence. You know him very well. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And for a team that plays that way, like on the edge, that's why he's so important for them, Kella.
Yeah, well, you know what? You're going to miss a guy like that. And I love Paul Maurice talking about how he's so important on special teams, both sides of it. So that's a huge loss for them.
Well, absolutely. But you do look at the lineup, you sort of wonder, how are they going to adjust? And they put Boquist in, and they don't want to move their second and third line guys up in that spot. And so Boquist, I mean, he's played 9 games this postseason, also played a couple games in the Leaf series because Rodriguez was out, so played on a line with Barkov. So a little bit of confidence in that, Ron.
We'll get to Kotkaniemi in a minute. Looks like he's going to be in, and maybe Roslovic comes out. We'll check on Sean Walker and Jalen Chatfield. There's Boquist going up onto the top line. But the other big news, Kelly, is Pyotr Kochetkov will be in goal because Freddie's not.
Yes, Freddie's struggling versus Florida. So he's faced 36 shots, given up 9 goals. Look at the body language after the Bennett goal in the first period. And when you're looking at the bench as a goaltender, you know it's a horrible sign. There he was after getting pulled for the third period. So Kochetkov, why is he going to play? Because he battles. Now, I have a story for you guys about how I know how he battles. So 18 months ago, Carolina, they were in Edmonton for a road game, right? So he gets a start, gives up 3 goals on 6 shots in 5 minutes and gets pulled. The very next night, they're in Calgary, where I'm doing the game. They start him again. He's 23 years old, and he battled like crazy. He had a brilliant game. He ended up losing 3-2 on a late Blake Coleman goal, but I thought, man, that is character right there. Hard to do.
No Chatfield, just hearing that is hard to do, and impressive. Right. So any other thought on just lineups and what could change the fortunes for Rod Brind'Amour?
We don't know about Walker yet, right. So no Chatfield for sure, no Walker. Those are 2 of your right-hand shots, scrappy defensemen, and where you're at in the series right now is you've been out-battled in the first 2 games. So it's one of those things, you make couple little tweaks to the lineup, but at the end of the day, you look at your team and the players that are regulars and you say, hey, we just need everyone to be better. So we're saying Walker is in, even though he did take that scary hit right there and kind of like strengthened his back, shoulder, he leaves. But he's a guy, he's a two-way player for them. He's an excellent skater. You know, he's went to the Harvard of the Midwest for school, so you know he's super intelligent. That's Bowling Green, Jen, if you didn't know that by now. We've only used that joke for 5 years, but he's flying around, and hopefully he's healthy because, like I said, they need everybody at their best so they don't go down 3-0.
And the great thing about Bowling Green, if the viewer doesn't realize, is you can take finance there and you become a doctor. So it's a very special school. All right, the second line for Florida, Kel.
Okay, so, well, every line for Florida is tremendous, aren't they? But that second line for the Panthers, unbelievable. What a series these guys are having. Between the three of them, they have 12 points in one series, in 2 games, basically. So you look at these guys, and I'm going to focus a little bit on Matthew Tkachuk because we all know that he's playing with an injury from the Four Nations. Most guys couldn't be in the lineup still or any effectiveness whatsoever. So he scored the second goal of the game here for the Panthers. Game 2, beautiful play going right to the front of the net, what he does so well. And then on the first goal of the game, turnover to Forsling, back of the net. So Matthew Tkachuk is, I think it's because he's so strong-minded, he's able to play, because most guys I really don't think could be in the series right now.
Time now for the Impact player to watch. And Jennifer, this will be your duty to report on the Colgate player. You want to be dentist ready, and it's Carter Verhaeghe.
Well, absolutely, and building on Kel's comment to think about, you know, that second line, but you need a lot of pieces to that line and to find great chemistry. And you look at Verhaeghe's game, and I think we talked a lot about the play of Bennett in game 2, but you think so. Let me know, Matt, where we want to go on Bobrovsky saves on this one. We're doing the Carolina chances. So we're going to shift gears here. We're going back to Carolina after they need to generate more offense. But here's Verhaeghe and his game from game 2, creating a lot of deception. This is one of the ones that fooled Anderson, forced him to look twice to the near side post. Here's a play. Why is this team playing so well? Commitment at both ends of the ice. This is a huge back check for Verhaeghe. They only have a 2-goal lead at that point. And later in that same shift, it's Verhaeghe comes up high, great couple looks, and eventually Bennett gets the goal. Kevin will appreciate all of these 3 assists from game 2, primary assists.
Awesome.
This one is at the other end of the net. This time he comes out on the other side and finds Bennett on the weak side. But this was a skill. We saw him do the little skill where Justin showed us last night, lifting the stick. Who else have we seen do this? McDavid on a few occasions in the playoffs. So Verhaeghe, similar skill, just trying to create a little bit of space in front of you. Some great walkouts, very strong play down low.
Good thing we got Colgate. A lot of gnashing of teeth going on right there. Kyle Bukauskas now and Sam Bennett. Kyle, down to you.
Well, Sam, for all the strengths that Sam Reinhart brings to the table, what do you think you're going to miss the most here tonight with his absence?
I mean, he's a guy that does it all. He's on the power play, penalty kill. You know, one of our best defenders and one of our best goal scorers. So he's really irreplaceable, but we're going to have some guys to step up tonight.
When did you really start to believe along the way that you would have a style of game that could make an impact at the most important times of the year?
I think just my whole life. You know, that's what I was taught to show up in the big moments, and you know, I love playoff hockey.
What's the biggest asset of your line right now, would you say?
I think our forecheck. We've been good, we've been relentless, and we're going to look to do more of that.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Ron.
Absolutely. That first shift the other night was unreal. So, Kevin, we call it the Svechnikov. Over to you at the Svechnikov.
The Svech, I like that, Ron. So let's talk mistakes right now, Ron. Let's talk about cardinal sins for wingers. Let's talk about something so outrageous that Pope Leo even knows that this can't happen in the D zone. I'm talking about wingers. When the D zone, they go down and they take this puck back into the zone, they cannot throw it back up to the strong side in which they're responsible for guarding. So Svechnikov, very smart player, very good player, but he makes the same mistake that can't happen. When he gets this puck, we know Florida's coming with pressure. We know Forsling's coming. If he's going to bring this puck back, he cannot put a soft pass back up the wall to where he just vacated and nobody's guarding. So as we run this here, he's going to bring it down the wall. I understand he's trying to protect it. He's under pressure. But this soft play right here is going to be poached all day long by Florida. Now it's an outnumbered situation. Back of the net, 1-0 Cats. Again, different side of the ice, same concept. I understand Fetch here. He's helping out with this breakout. He's the first forward back. But when a winger has the puck in the corner, everybody usually just converges to the house and protects it. This puck cannot be a soft play up the strong side for the defenseman that he's responsible guarding. We run the play here. It's Fetch again, trying to protect it. Little bit of a soft reverse play up the wall. It's poached on by the defenseman here, Mikkola. He keeps this puck in. And then again, because everyone's kind of dismantled, it's a 2-on-1 at the net, back of the net, 2-0. Right? Svetch, you're better than that. 2 mistakes the same, you can't have it happen. Ron, you know that.
Really good. I was telling you that Claude Lemieux inadvertently gave it to the point, his point, and the U.S. scored in the World Cup in '96 and defeated Canada. It was a big moment. All right, Jen, dearth of chances, high danger chances on Bobrovsky.
Yeah, so we gave you a sneak peek of this, but the reason we can show you this
We
twice
did.
because they only had 2 high danger chances of the entire game 2. So here was a look. It was Martinique's chance in the first period. Bobrovsky is there to make a very solid save. Their next high danger chance came in the 3rd period, and it was Blake that comes in, and yet again, Bobrovsky has the angle. But here's a team that likes to get shots on net. We know that. Like a lot of shot attempts, but to me, when you have 2 as a team, the Florida Panthers had 12 high danger chances. You have to find a way to get more pucks on Bobrovsky, more quality chances, so finding a way to get into the interior more often.
Well, Jen, it's the major difference in the series so far for me through 2 games is the Florida defensemen and their ability to get these pucks through. We know all the goals they've scored in the playoffs, but not always putting it through. Maybe the shot pass right there. Forsling head up. There's guys in the lane. Sometimes you have to do that. Ekblad changing the angle and getting that through. They've done that consistently all playoffs long. Look at Ekblad here. Subtle move, gets that through, and he's shooting it wide. It's not always necessarily at the net. Shoot it for a stick. That ends up in the back of the net. But look at this play by Ekblad. Look how far he skates to change this angle. He skates 80 feet across the blue line, stick handling, head faking to find a lane to get that puck through. It ends up in the back of the net. Conversely, here's the Canes. You know, credit Florida, though. They're in the lane, they're diving, they're doing whatever it takes, but they're working hard here, these D. Gostisbehere's trying, Orlov, they just can't get pucks through. And, you know, sometimes you have to shoot maybe a couple wide on purpose to be tipped back in, maybe a couple head fakes, take it down the wall. That's the difference in the series right now for me.
Looks like no Sean Walker. Looks like Nikishin will go in for the Hurricanes in this game. Over on the other side.
Okay, Mikkola and Jones. Boy, what a pairing for Florida, right? They're so deep. Kev, you showed some great plays by Ekblad, but look at the ice time these guys. Jones, what a great pickup this winter for the Cats. But look at Mikkola, the skating in the 99th percentile among D-men in speed bursts. Who knew that coming into this playoff series, right? So let's take a look at these two and how well they're playing. Here's a big shot by Mikkola in the first period. Great effort. Here's that play, Kev, you just showed where he pinches down, shovels the puck behind the net. Verhaeghe to Tkachuk, 2-0 at that point, and it just continues for this guy. Watch this battle in the corner. Mikkola, then who comes in to help him? His partner, Jones. Now they're going to battle those 2 guys. Bennett comes in for a little bit of help. What happens? Jones comes out of the corner with the puck, and they exit the zone. Just put it out to Verhaeghe. Here's another play by Jones. He's been so active in these players. A great play, leaving his point position, and it's not over yet. Watch this play by Mikkola. Steals the puck, gets it to the winger Verhaeghe, and then he keeps going. Goes all the way. He's going to make it all the way to the goal line because he trusts his skating so much. It's so fun to watch these 2 guys. And then the big hit by Mikkola on Jarvis. And then lastly, Jones with a great block. So that's what those 2 guys can do. It's really impressive.
You see some Slavin in Mikkola? And to me, that'd be the ultimate compliment. Do you see a little bit similarities in their game or no?
A little bit, but you know who I see more? Hedman.
Yep.
How he's more than willing to join the rush and really trust his skating.
Well, Kelly, you sort of alluded to the depth on D, but also we have to acknowledge the depth up front. We've spoken about the first line, the second line. Now you look at the third line. Lusterina tied for the team's lead in points in the postseason. So if you look at his game 2, whether it's a drive to the net, and for him, looking to the interior, finding his options, knowing when the traffic is in front. And we've heard a lot of praise from Maurice over the seasons. And this was one, just physicality. And for him coming in, a little reverse hit. And so then you look at who else is on that third line? Marchand. So third period on the PK. Here's a player. He's going to bring intensity. He's going to bring energy. And even though they have a 4-goal lead, for him to compete is there. And that's just a contagious energy that you feed off of. I mean, a breakaway shorthanded, then another chance. I mean, this eventually leads to a chance that Marchand gets deception in the neutral zone. He can't believe he misses his pass across from Lundell. But again, you think about the depth throughout the lineup. This is a third line that's been buzzing as well.
Really good. All right, Jamal Mayers at the big board. We'll get Jamal's take on this important Game 3 for the Carolina Hurricanes in Florida tonight. We'll also hear from Taylor Hall with Kyle and a feature on Seth Jones when we come back to our coverage of the 3rd game of the Eastern Final on Hockey Central in a moment.
During the Ford It's a Big Deal event, we asked the tough questions. Like, what if an offer on an F-150 looked as good as an F-150? Right now, get a big deal when you lease this F-150 for $110 a week. This deal won't last forever.
Love glitter? Try having it literally everywhere. Paparazzi's got nothing on first graders.
I definitely would have skipped this.
Could have just closed the hood.
Search spy movies.
Rogers Xfinity is here with the next generation of streaming. Now Keanu can spend more time watching all his TV.
Yes! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on!
All his streams.
What? Knowledge is put to the test in every GMC Sierra. Truck Month is on now. Get a cash bonus on these light-duty, heavy-duty, or all-electric GMC Sierra models today.
Forget snacks and drinks? Both can be delivered on Skip.
Wait, a pill?
It's a pill. Ask your doctor about Rybelsus.
Uptime means more payments, more connections, more orders. Uptime means everything to your small business because there's no time for downtime. Get Rogers Business Internet with our 99.99% uptime guarantee.
All tied up at the end of the first period. The Panthers will need to tighten up on defense as the
Sometimes it pays to be a bad fan. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction.
Imagine if hockey superstar Connor McDavid had dreamed of becoming a chef instead.
Men's clothing provided by Jack Victor.
Welcome back. As the official fuel of the NHL, Esso is proud to fuel Canada's love for hockey. Esso, dedicated to Canada's game for over 80 years. Seth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Me and the, oh no, that was the other name, the Jarvis item. What are the odds we have another Seth feature? Our features department clearly has a Seth Jones. Enjoy.
When I signed in Chicago, obviously there was a different plan, and they kind of took a different route with a new GM and everything. So the timeline just, it didn't work out for me and where that team wanted to go. They're in a little bit more of the development stage of their organization, and me being 30 years old now, kind of in the middle prime years of my career, wanted to give myself a chance to win.
We've got some breaking news for you. The Chicago Blackhawks have traded defenseman Seth Jones to the Florida Panthers, upending the balance of power in the Eastern Conference for the defending Stanley Cup champions.
I can't tell you the number of times that Bill Zito's mentioned a name, and the first thought in my head is, we got no chance of getting him.
He's a guy that you never expected to get a guy like that on our team.
So lucky that we were able to get him and a player of his talent. He's been an unbelievable addition to our team.
I was blown away when I heard that he got traded to Florida. He's such a gifted player in so many areas. You have a guy that is a great shutdown D-man, but also so dangerous offensively.
Seth Jones walks in, scores! Seth Jones breaks the ice!
The real strength of his game may not be the offensive part alone. In the style of game that we play, he's a large man that can close the gap.
I think the last 4 years in Chicago, I was, not playing my best hockey. When I'm watching video with you know, whether it's assistant coaches or watching my own video, I can see like, oh, I should have done that, I should have done that. And a lot of the details of my game probably were slipping. And I'm happy that I'm here and they're starting to come back.
Great shot. 9 steal, maybe. Fly now, baby, fly. Get the middle, get the middle. Great puck. Smart play.
He jumped in and played huge minutes right away and has been an incredible part of our defense and just so steady every single night.
He reads the play so well, the way he gaps up on people and kills plays, very defensively responsible. So he just adds in a completely different dynamic to the back end.
Not in the new way the Norris Trophy is considered, but maybe in an older school way of Norris Trophy candidates, the defensive part of the game was almost equally as valued as the point production, that he would be that kind of player for us.
And for the first time in their history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions.
I understand where these guys were, how they won last year. They played a lot of hockey. They know who they are. They know the system down to a T, and I want to just come in and be a part of that.
As great of a player on the ice, he's been just an incredible guy off the ice and just such a great dude. So very lucky to have him on our team.
Winning a championship is why everyone plays, right? These guys here have accomplished it. They understand what it takes, and my goal is to come in and help them get to that goal again. Everyone is on one common goal in this locker room. No one cares about points. Nobody cares about personal stats, personal awards, this and that. They want to win the Stanley Cup. And they had a taste last year, but you can still feel the hunger in the room, and that's super exciting.
He is on fire. The big board now presented by Bet365. Welcome in Jamal Mayers. Jamal, there is a saying in art. Kevin Bieksa told me this. He's a Bieksa sketcher. The saying in art is that the height of art is to conceal art. People don't even know they're being drawn in, and that would make the captain of the Florida Panthers a work of art, don't you think?
That's right, and Kevin is the intellectual coming from the Harvard of the Midwest, so I am not surprised, but Barkov has certainly found a way to make himself relevant, and his selfless play has really jumped off the page for me. And think about all the things and how skilled he is, his ability to defend, his ability to set the tone for how they want to play. Yeah, he has a goal and assist in this series, in 14 games in the playoffs, has 12 points. He's been matched up against Point, then Matthews, now Aho, and dominating. Unbelievable stick, great awareness defensively, and as I said, he is the #1 guy center-wise for this group. He's going to play with Rodriguez and Boquist, and I can assure you, his name is at the top of that board. It doesn't matter what line he's on, he is the #1 line, and he will make those other two guys great. So he sets the tone, he's fun to watch, and he does all the little things very well.
Kevin, what's Western Michigan known for?
The Western Michigan of the Midwest.
All right, the other side, what's Carolina got to do tonight, or who?
Well, you guys touched on it in the program, is that top line has to be much better. And obviously, Svechnikov has been a liability defensively, and Jen touched on it as well. Only 2 high-danger chances, but it starts with this line, Aho, Svechnikov, and Jarvis. They have to set the tone, and they have to get to the interior. I get it. Florida defends extremely well. They give you the outside. You have to fight. You have to get your nose dirty. You have to give up your shot to get to the interior. You have to look for ways to get the puck to the net. You have to drive there with and without the puck and get uncomfortable. If Carolina doesn't get uncomfortable, isn't willing to fight to get to those spots, they don't have a chance to get back in this series.
So if Bowling Green and Harvard think that, but more important, I understand Jasper Place High School, Kelly's school, swears by what you just said. Thank you, Jamal. Jamal Mayers at the big board presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. All right, here's a quote for you. Jordan Staal, captain of the Canes, was pretty much an ass whooping all the way through the lineup. Goaltender to forwards, we've just got to be better. Let's check in now with Taylor Hall and Kyle Bukauskas.
Taylor, your captain spoke pretty bluntly after Game 2. What's been your read of the group here today?
I think we're ready to go. It's a really good opportunity in front of us, obviously, and tough test. They're a good team, but we are too, and we know we have more to give. And regardless of the score, what happens tonight, I think we play to our potential. We'll be okay.
You hear a lot about how smothering the Panthers can be. So as a forward, how do you go about trying to break through all that?
Yeah, they're tight to you all the time in the O zone. They don't give you a lot of space, so it's about using free areas of the ice to relieve the pressure. We went over some of that today and yesterday. So we do the same thing to teams. We make teams feel like that when we're at our best. So that's what we're going to try and do.
Taylor, thank you for this.
Thanks.
Ron. Very composed, I would say, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Thought on that or the quote?
Well, to me, the quote from Stahl is interesting. Twofold. I mean, for him, certainly adds more pressure on his own shoulders, but I also feel like a sign of a true leader. So to me, that comment, he also followed it up by saying, we need everyone. And if you think about game 2, we didn't have anyone. So I think pressure on his shoulders, he believes he can handle it, but also just needing to find a way to elevate and bring every other person along. So it's a challenging comment, absolutely, but I don't think it's a shock to anybody else in that locker room.
Wow, I was a little shocked. Like he pointed to the goaltenders and he said they have to be better. Everybody's got to be better. As you said, that's a great challenge.
Well, the honesty of it, you can't hide from it now.
Yeah.
He's so honest. He's like, we got our butts kicked, everybody. So it's an accountability now for the group. Change of scenery would be good for them. Change of scenery going into Florida now, a little bit of an underdog role. You don't have to worry about putting on a show for the fans. Just play their game. They'll take this change of scenery the right way.
Doesn't it sound like Rod Brindamore? I mean, Taylor Hall
Very
sounds
much.
All the candidates.
Yes. And I don't think anybody would be offended by his comments in that locker room. I think they'd all be like, we concur.
You would have to agree. If you're one of those guys, you go, yeah, he's right.
John Bartlett, Gary Galley have the call of game number 3 as we get you set for the Eastern Conference Final and a really important swing clash between Carolina and Florida. John Bon Jovi, Keep the Faith is next.